but what did you see some of the doctrinal developments and changes that were happening sort of right in front of your eyes?
Yeah. I came in at an interesting time
Right.
because it was right at the cusp of the division between Mashah and Ariyah.
Who was Mashah?
Mashah was he was one of the 7 heads of the school. Ariyah had somehow dubbed him the reincarnation. These brothers believed heavy into reincarnation.
Right. Now, this is important, everybody.
Yes.
Reincarnation in most camps, I think GOCC rejects it, but reincarnation in a lot of camps is very, very important to them. And
yes,
kind of a logical corollary, if you think about it, is, well, maybe we could figure out, like, who's who. So Mashah was a dude who got dubbed as King David.
King David.
Now, who was
Correct.
Ariyah? Who was Ariyah supposed to be?
Ariyah was, as they would call him, John the Revelator.
Okay, all right.
He was John the Revelator.
Okay.
The very apostle John. Mashah also supposedly had several reincarnations. He was Moses. He was also, King David, and he was the apostle Peter.
Dang. This is kind of like Serpentor.
So this guy he wore a lot of big hats,
Yeah, check it out. If you've ever seen G.I. Joe, okay. In the 1986 series, they wanted a new leader because Cobra Commander was like dropping the ball, right? And so Dr. Mindbender and Destro went behind Cobra Commander's back and they combed the tombs of all of history's greatest military leaders, such as Genghis Khan and Vlad the Impaler and Napoleon, et cetera, snagged their DNA and then put it sort of into a genetic blender and made Serpentor, who's supposed to be like the ultimate Cobra Emperor. He's Julius Caesar and all these other dudes. And this sounds like what Mashah got going on a little bit.
Interesting.
I'm sorry. There's a couple of y'all that get that reference. But, okay, so that's who Mashah's supposed to be. We know who Ariyah's supposed to be. Yeah. Now, what's going on with those dudes, though?
Well, it was a mistake that Ariyah made that I think he later came to regret because he ascribed Mashah more authority and power than himself.
Right, because Mashah's King David and Moses. All right, okay.
There were certain verses in the Bible they would use, and the people will seek to their king. They also use one of the passages in Deuteronomy 28 about your king will go with you into captivity.
Yeah, this is a little side note, but I just noticed one of the problems with the interpretation of Deuteronomy 28 is something I just saw, our mutual friend point out on the Facebook group. He was saying, what king went with the folks during the transatlantic slave trade?
Right.
That was a killer. That's verse 27, right?
Right.
That's important. That's an important verse. And the way you guys he just kept on asking the question, and you realize there's not really an answer to this. That was good.
Well, that's because the emphasis is always, we're the only people who fit each and every exact prophecy in there.
Right.
They'll say that. They will say that. However, as we both know, there's only certain verses they'll necessarily grab out of Deuteronomy 28 that have anything in common with the transatlantic. So while they say that, well, you got to fit each and every detail to be the applicant for this prophecy, there's a lot that they glaze over as well.
All right, so let's talk about, is the first major break with Mashah splitting off, would you say?
Yeah, there was, as we talked about, there was the Sons of Thunder over in Brooklyn a little bit earlier on. I wouldn't exactly call it a split. It was just camps that did their own thing, their own way. And UPK ended up disassociating. They did come up to Harlem quite a bit, and a few of those Brooklyn brothers joined and moved out to Harlem. But for the majority, a lot of them stayed out there and kind of did things their own way.
So everyone knows there used to really be a lot more centralized unity in this movement.
Oh, for sure.
And what's interesting is people think that a nation-building thing is happening, but actually the opposite is happening. There's fracturing, and we're talking about these 90s splits, but now it's even more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that split is what, House of David? Is that correct?
That was called House of David.
Because Mashah,
King David,
is David. All right.
Remain loyal to Mashah. From what I understand, there was frequent. Right after that, there was frequent splits, and a lot of it had to do with personal differences, vendettas even, and stuff like that. But it would always come out. It would always present as it was something doctrinal.
Right.
From what I understand, is Mashah and Ariyah went their separate ways over money, And Ariar and those brothers from One West ended up paying visits to the other schools and tried to sort of get out in front of that and give their explanation of why that went down. And, you know, Ariar tried to retract on the Mashah was King David thing. You know, he tried to downplay that and backpedal. Well, we're all reincarnated, but none of us are sure exactly who we are. We were wrong about that.
Right.
It was a little too late for some of the zealous true believers. You know?
All right. Now, Abba Bivens self-styled himself as a boxer, you know, and he would often knock cats out. There's a famous story that has been relayed to me several times about he was preaching on a step ladder, just like you see in that Malcolm X movie, for example, real old school style. A dude's heckling him. Abba Bivens drops off the ladder, pow! Clocks a dude, knocks him out. Well, that kind of brawler mentality continues on. Abba Bivens is an older man. He's in Newark, New Jersey, a place that's not so nice, you know. Sorry to folks in Newark, but if you know anyone from there, you know what I'm talking about. So he's there in Newark and gets in a squabble with some Muslims. Not sure if they're Orthodox or 5% or I'm sorry, Nation of Islam. But he gets stabbed, it appears. Or at least he receives some injuries, tries to drive himself to the hospital, but he dies. The year is maybe 1970. No, the year's not really known for sure, but it can't be any later than what year?
Oh, I don't assume it's later than 72. The latest I see people get is when his two students and one of those students' son start a new school.
Now
they usually, the latest I've seen it dated is to 73.
That's what we need to talk about.
He died before 73.
Everything we've done so far is really just laying the groundwork. Abba Bivens is now out of the picture, but Abu, tell me about the three students, because here's where we're getting rubber meeting road. Tell me about the three students.
So from his environment that was mostly Tanakh only, but apparently with some leanings towards the New Testament, his school, upon his death, his school apparently collapsed. His school was not at One West. And two of his students, a guy named Moshe and a guy named Yaakov, and the guy Yaakov's son, went on to start a new school, bringing some of his teachings, but also developing them and changing them. And they started a new school at One West 125th Street, which would evolve ultimately into the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, or Israeli Church of Universal Practical Knowledge, and then split into the many groups that exist today.
The men were Yaquab, Mashah,
yes, that's the thing.
And Ariah.
Yes, that's what it was. It was, you have the guy Moshe and Yaakov, and then Yaakov's son Aryeh, or Ari, as some people have claimed his name was, and then later on, Ariah develops a new form of Hebrew, Lashawan Kodash, which they claim is ancient, and so they redid their names. Moshe became Mashah, Yaakov became Yaquab, and Aryeh or Ari became Ariah.
And we talked about this. Mashah was later said to be King David reincarnated, and that created a lot of problems, and he started a school called the House of David, and a lot of the groups that we're going to talk about, or that we talked about last time, came out of the House of David, which originally came out of UPK.
There are a lot of Israelite groups out there, but there's only one group that's teaching the truth according to the way the Most High wants it to be taught, and that's GMS. Like I said, we challenge anybody on the planet. I don't give a damn if you're the Pope. I don't give a damn if you Rex Humbard. I don't give a damn if you Jesuit. I don't give a damn who you are. When it comes to the scriptures, we the only ones that know the scriptures, all right? I told you, man, stop trying to find the truth yourself. Just come to Great Millstone. Whatever we say, we have the truth. Period.
Greetings. In one of my recent videos, I had some positive words about Rebel Alliance Media. As a result, I got a response to that video in the form of a comment from Tahar, the leader of the notorious Great Millstone group. Writing under the name White Man is the Devil, Tahar asked, quote, "How can you say anything positive about the Ram when those two apostates don't even believe in the Lord?" End quote. The simple answer is that, if I agree with someone, I'm going to say so, and if I disagree, I'm going to say so. However, Tahar's comment has inspired me to make another video, another positive video about Rebel Alliance Media. In this video, I'd like to congratulate them on their constant pressure that they put on Great Millstone regarding their teaching that Mashah is King David. So in this video, I'd like to briefly go through the history of that subject. In the 90s, the Israeli Church of Universal Practical Knowledge taught that a man named Moshe ben Harim and later Mashah was King David reincarnated. But there was a small core of his followers who continued to believe that he was King David even after his death. Most of those men, if not all of them, are in the Great Millstone Group today. So consider some of these clips of GMS members still saying that Mashah is King David a decade after he died.
All of a sudden, they made everybody swear that Mashah was King David, which he is King David. I'm just gonna come out and say it, man. Fuck it, okay? Because that's what I was taught. I'm gonna stick to what I was taught, man.
Well, he is King David.
Don't give a goddamn about nobody liking it. He is King David, man. All right?
Let me say this. Now, I was there when Mashah was in there, and that's the king of Israel. That's King David, right? Yep. Now, I'm not going to push that thing because that's a thing among us, right. Among the old cats. Me, this brother right here, we go back years, all right?
And we got a little treat for you brothers today. We're going to just go into show you a clip of some of our elders and the truth, beginning with Mashah. You know, and for those of you that can receive it, you know, that is King David. You know, we don't really push that out too much because we know that brothers really can't handle that.
Yeah, for those of you that can receive it.
Right.
For those of you that's on the level.
Now, the gentlemen in Rebel Alliance Media started making videos demanding that GMS prove their claim that Mashah is King David. This was a fair request when you consider that GMS always quotes 1 Thessalonians 5:21 to everyone else, demanding that they, quote, prove all things, end quote.
And the scripture says, prove all things. Yep. All right?
Consider these clips of the gentlemen in Rebel Alliance Media pressing GMS over the course of several months on their teaching that Mashah is King David.
Makadabi, we want to answer from Makadabi. Tahar, if you listen, you can answer them. We want to answer from Makadabi.
We want proof that Mashah is King David. This is 2009. You still believe Mashah is King David, man? Listen, you guys are insane. You are mentally insane. And you guys make no sense. You coming at the Tajadak here because he's claiming he's the Holy Spirit. But yet, all of you guys subscribe to the ideology that Mashah is King David. This is outrageous.
We want to answer. Prove to us Mashah is King David. Wow, you guys. And on top of that, the Marsh King asking, you know, Mashah King David. Mm-hmm. Why did he? Right. How is that a stupid question? That's what you teach. We actually have footage of you guys, you know, saying, well, if you could receive it, Mashah's King David. If you could receive it, what kind of nonsense is that? We're trying to receive it. We're trying to at least receive an answer.
Right. If we could receive it. Stop that crap. If you can receive it. See, the reason why you don't understand because you can't receive it.
Well, just fundamental questions regarding their faith. You know, we want the evidence. We want the proof that Mashah is King David. We want some kind of scriptural evidence. Prove to us how is Mashah King David.
Now, having no proof, the men in GMS got frustrated and tried to threaten the men in Rebel Alliance Media. So consider this clip of one of the threats, followed by footage of the men in Rebel Alliance Media humorously responding to that threat by continuing to press their question.
You're gonna be put to death, man. Right. Straight up. You're gonna be the next fucking Tony. Yep. And I hope you get plungers shoved up your ass, man. Right. Just get beaten to fucking smithereens, man. Yep. You're gonna be the next fucking Tony. Yep. And I hope you get plungers shoved up your ass, man. Just get...
Alright, he hopes I get plungers shoved up my ass because I asked him to prove that Mashah is King David. Can you believe it?
That means he really wants you to turn gay.
What does that guy, what does plungers being shoved up somebody's ass got to do with proof Mashah is King David?
You're gonna be put to death, man. Right. Straight up. You're gonna be the next fucking Tony. Yep. And I hope you get plungers shoved up your ass, man. Right. Just like bring the fucking smithereens.
Get back the fucking smithereens. Now, let me ask you a question. What I got to do with Mashah is King David, sir?
See, he's real angry, like...
No. My question to that is, what does that got to do with proof Mashah is King David?
Ultimately, Great Millstone caved under the pressure and admitted that they accepted it on blind faith. You know, it was a tacit admission that they have no proof.
This thing is all about faith. Like, you got a lot of guys that prove to me that Mashah is King David. This is a thing of faith. Right. Prove to me this and prove to me that. You know what? You know what? The Lord is gonna prove something to you. How long it's gonna take you to go up in flames? All right.
As far as I'm concerned, this was a victory for Rebel Alliance Media. But consider this explanation provided by GMS.
So a lot of you idiots, you out there questioning us about our faith. First of all, it's not nothing physical. It's not nothing tangible that you could actually touch. You know, you got a lot of niggas say, "Oh, how you know Mashah is King David?" And we never even taught that to you dummies. All right, and if the Spirit revealed that to you, so be it. All right, that's just like going back during the time of matter of fact, get Matthew's 16th chapter. Or you give me that real quick, brother. Matthew's the 16th chapter. And start at, I think it's about 17.
And Yahushua answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon.
Right, he didn't say Peter will prove it to me. He didn't say Peter prove to me how you know that I'm the son of the Most High, how I'm the Mashah, the anointed. He said no. He said, Blessed are you, Peter. Right?
Simon bore Jonah, for flesh and blood had not revealed it unto thee.
Right, and you know what that means when it says for flesh and blood has not revealed it unto thee? Meaning he didn't actually go to no physical school and learn that Jesus Christ, who you call Jesus Christ, was the anointed. Okay? He didn't sit there and read a book or whatever where it says that he was going to be the anointed. It was in the spirit. And that's what? That's faith. But he said, Blessed are you because flesh and blood didn't reveal this to you, but what? My Father which is in heaven. So if you know that if the Spirit reveals something to you that somebody that was from the Most High. You see? But it's not a thing that you could question or nothing like that. So the whole thing with Mashah being king, we ain't never sit out there and taught sermons on that or whatever. So look, Mashah is King David. All right? Yeah, we believe that Mashah is King David. Ariel is John the Revelator. Okay, Yaquab was James. These guys had to be. They were there then.
Now, I agree that there's a place for faith, but it's ironic to see men who always demand that others prove all things now say that it's an issue of faith. You know, furthermore, Great Millstone would never accept, others appealing to Matthew 16:17 in that way. Can you imagine if a Roman Catholic said that just as the Father revealed certain truths to Peter, so too the Father revealed to him that the Pope is the infallible leader of the Church? Or can you imagine a member of the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ saying just as the Father revealed certain truths to Peter, so too he's revealed to him that Tazadaki is the Comforter? GMS would never accept these sort of arguments, so why should anyone believe them when they take this approach? The reality is that this wasn't the claim that Mashah is King David wasn't revealed to them by the Father or by the Spirit or anything like that. Rather they were forced to believe it in the 90s, and you can see them sort of admitting to much in the following clips.
All of a sudden, they made everybody swear that Mashah was King David, okay? Because they always taught us, Ariel, Yeshaya, Lahab, all these guys always taught us Mashah was the king. And if you said differently, then you would be banished.
Number one, Ariel himself was the one who taught us that.
Yep.
Okay, years ago. Ariel was the one who stood up and said, look, if you don't believe Mo is King David, all right, you ain't right, you're going to get out the school or whatever, man.
Finally, knowing that Great Millstone tries to keep their belief about Mashah quiet, we should wonder if they have any other secret teachings. The rumor is that they believe that Tahar himself is the Apostle Paul reincarnated. With that in mind, I'm going to close with this interesting clip.
It tells you when the men of the Lord spoke, that's in the history, that riots broke out. Especially like Apostle Paul. And Apostle Paul is here. And that ain't me. All right, go on.